Hey Virgo, so let's get into your fashion sense, your style, and we're gonna see if you really dress like your zodiac sign. So before we get into it, I will set the disclaimer that, of course, this applies to you if you are a Virgo sun. However, it also applies to you if you have Virgo, Venus, or Mars, as well as Moon or Rising. So I'm going to show you guys a bunch of examples of girls with Virgo placements, and it's not only for your sun sign. So I recommend watching this video series on my channel for your Venus and Mars sign too, just because I found that Venus and Mars plays a huge part in fashion sense. Now let's just get into it, but before we get into it, tell me down below if you can describe your personal style in 3 words. What 3 words would you use? And keep those 3 words in mind, because by the end we're gonna see if your description matches up with my description and if there's any consistency or patterns overall with Virgo fashion sense. Okay Virgo, so the title that I gave your aesthetic and the way I would describe it overall is goth mom. So with this goth mom aesthetic, we're gonna really get into the similar trends that a lot of Virgos wear, some of the clothes that you guys wear, the colors, just the overall aesthetic you guys wear, and the pieces that you pair together. And we're also going to talk about the Virgo starter pack, or the Virgo uniform, that I find that a lot of Virgos have in their wardrobe. Okay, so with this goth mom aesthetic, I thought it was so interesting because at first I couldn't really think of what a Virgo aesthetic would be. I didn't really think like a consistent pattern would even form when I was looking for Virgo aesthetics, but a very obvious trend started to happen as I started looking at more and more Virgos. And I would say the overall themes that I found the most with Virgo placements and how they dress is it tends to be very kind of grungy, not too gothic. I feel like gothic and grungy is 2 different things, and there's like a fine line between them. And I feel like Virgo really skates more on that like grungy aesthetic. The most obvious thing I did find with Virgos is that they wear black quite a bit. That was almost the most worn color by you guys. And for some people, it was kind of hard to find pictures of them wearing color or wearing color in their outfits. I feel like black is definitely the uniform color for Virgo placements. Also, the major theme with Virgo style and fashion is that it tended to be kind of classic. That's why I named it goth mom. I noticed you guys kind of wear kind of mom clothing, but almost like sexy mom, if that makes sense. Because you guys did incorporate a lot of kind of sexier elements into your clothing. Even though it was quite subtle, I did notice you guys wore like more sexier clothing. I'll put examples on the screen of what I'm talking about. But at the same time, it was kind of motherly, if that makes sense. So some common clothing pieces you guys would wear would be like cardigans, and kind of like that motherly silhouette, I guess. I feel like Lily Reinhart is a really good example of that. But at the same time, it's sort of suggestive or sexual. And of course, incorporating the color black on some level, or if not having an entire outfit that is black. So if I can condense the theme down to like a sentence, I would say it's like this grungy, classic vibe with like a splash of sexiness. And I also noticed that a lot of Virgos tend to kind of have this girl next door kind of vibe with how they dress. Again, there's a sort of simple element to it where it's not too many intricate patterns or complex pieces or textures. It's very subtle. It's not too obvious or flashy with the way you dress. Now let's get into sort of like the major themes I found with certain celebrities and influencers. Now, a consistent theme I kept finding with Virgos is definitely wearing leather, if not pleather, if you're like plant-based. But I found that a lot of Virgo placements were wearing leather, either pants, leather jackets, leather tops, almost like this, in some cases, sort of like that dominatrix vibe, like sort of like black leather, but it looks sort of sexy at the same time, but not too vulgar. I felt like Virgo had this really great skill or talent of wearing something sexy but not too suggestive. It's almost like a very subtle sexiness, or like innocent sexiness, or like I said earlier, like sort of like mom sexiness, if that makes sense, but not too motherly, but not too sexy. I feel like you guys are perfectly in the middle of that. But I will say definitely that your outfits do tend to be a little bit suggestive, but kind of in a subtle way. And I feel like a lot of you guys have leather in your wardrobe. Another theme I found was Doc Martens. A lot of you guys might wear Doc Martens. Again, there's this sort of like grungy vibe to your aesthetic, which really shocked me because I think we think Virgos are sort of like angelic or like Karens of the Zodiac, but honestly they were kind of like dominatrix vibe a little bit with their outfits with leather and grunge and this Doc Martens maybe, and that's definitely like the major vibe I got from them, even though I feel like a stereotype might be that you are kind of like a Karen. Right when I started noticing this major theme and consistent pattern with Virgo aesthetics, the first thing that I thought of was like the Addams Family. And if you guys have seen the Addams Family, the specific character I was thinking of with this Virgo aesthetic is Wednesday Addams. So most of you guys probably already know Wednesday Addams. You probably know about the Addams Family, but that's kind of like the mascot I would give for the Virgo aesthetic, this goth mom aesthetic, is Wednesday Addams, Elvira, who's also the mom on that show. And I actually looked up Wednesday Addams, like the character or the actor that plays her. Her name is Christina Ricci, and lo and behold, Christina Ricci has Virgo rising and Virgo Mars. So with that alone, we can see the Virgo archetype really playing out in real life, and that Virgo aesthetic playing out in real life with that Wednesday Addams is kind of like the mascot for Virgo aesthetics, and the actual actress that plays her is Virgo, very heavily influenced by Virgo in her birth chart. So the poster child for Virgo fashion and aesthetics is definitely Wednesday Addams, or even like Elvira from the TV show, as you guys just saw. And when it comes to real life celebrities, I feel like some celebrities to look at that have that Virgo aesthetic really down packed is definitely Lily Reinhart, Blake Lively, who's a Virgo stellium, as well as Bella Hadid, who has Virgo moon, Venus, and rising. I feel like Bella Hadid is probably your second mascot. So it would be like Wednesday Addams and Bella Hadid are definitely your poster childs for Virgo aesthetics. Now let's get into the starter pack, or the kind of uniform you guys probably have in your wardrobe based on the patterns that I was looking at. Okay, so when it comes to the Virgo starter pack or uniform, definitely what you have in your wardrobe, probably watching this as just like a regular person, is a pair of Doc Martens, something leather, whether it be a leather skirt, jacket, top, maybe even like a jumpsuit. I saw that a lot with Virgos, is like full leather outfits, leather jeans, leather pants, and of course it can be like faux leather, it doesn't have to be real leather, but either way, you guys probably have something leather in your wardrobe. Another thing is definitely like a cardigan, which is really on trend right now, like those 90s kind of mom cardigans, sort of like that cardigan vibe. You might have multiple cardigans. And then of course you probably have a lot of black clothing. Now Virgo was the sign where I found like they were wearing like all black, like head to toe, like shirt, pants, and shoes. A lot of people in zodiac signs wear black, of course, but I noticed Virgo consistently wore full black head to toe outfits, almost sort of like Catwoman type of outfits. I found like that Catwoman aesthetic with a lot of Virgo women that I looked up is they at least had one, I would say they at least had one photo shoot, maybe for Halloween, where they had that Catwoman vibe going on with the all black jumpsuit or leather jumpsuit. When it comes to accessories, I will say that Virgo women, I noticed, kept it very simple. There wasn't anything too exaggerated with their accessories. I noticed you might wear like a pair of classic hoops, small hoops, daintier jewelry, nothing too kind of complex or intricate or bold or daring. I noticed it was very simple, very clean cut, and overall with your aesthetic, I would say it's very classic, very clean cut, except when you wear leather. And there wasn't too many patterns. I don't think there was a lot of patterns and like textures or bright colors. I noticed it was mostly black, plain, solid clothing. And for most Virgos, I feel like you can kind of expect that range of like being very grunge, almost kind of gothic, to kind of having that mom vibe. And I feel like most Virgos kind of meet in the middle and kind of combine that mom aesthetic with like that grungy gothic vibe, and you guys tend to have like a splash of sexiness in your outfits as well. Tell me down below what stores you shop at, and if I want to see if there's like a pattern with like Virgos and where they shop. And then also tell me down below if you feel like you resonate with this description, if it matches up with the 3 words you had in mind earlier. And message me on Instagram at astrokit if you feel like you match this description, just because I'm gonna post some subscriber examples. I'd love to see like this goth mom aesthetic live in action. So if you have some photos on your Instagram, message me so I'll post some on my Instagram. And subscribe to my channel for my next video, and I'll see you Virgos in my next one.